The F-35 Joint Program Office recently stated that some of the inventory has been grounded and will be undergoing one-time inspections while the mishap team continues to do fact-finding around the Fort Worth crash that occurred on December 15th. The JPO wrote in an emailed response, quote, "This is a preliminary assessment of the risk and actions are in work that we believe will lead to a refinement of this assessment in January 2023. The JPO did not disclose the number of aircraft affected or any specifics relating to the nature of the one-time inspection or what they believe to be root cause of the mishap. The video of the mishap was widely circulated on social media minutes after it happened. Pentagon officials identified the pilot as an Air Force major who had been doing performance quality checks on behalf of the Defense Contract Management Agency. Shortly after the incident, he was released from the hospital and suffered only minor injuries." According to Pentagon officials, the F-35B that crashed had not been transferred to the U.S. government yet, which is typical for aircraft that are still being tested by the manufacturer, in this case, Lockheed Martin. Aviation photographer Michael Keaveney happened to be in the area taking some photos when the Fort Worth mishap occurred, and he provided us these exclusive images along with a description of what we're seeing in each one of them. In the first image, the F-35 is low, approaching to a carrier brake and return to the runway for hover testing. Here it's slow moving in the hover, no smoke visible, and the weapons bay doors are closed. In this image, aircraft is in the hover, and the first smoke is visible at the back of the aircraft near the engine. The weapons bay doors are now all open. It's worth noting that in 17 years of shooting the F-35B at Lockheed Martin, Michael has never gotten a shot where the pilots have opened the weapons bay doors during a hover test. In the next image, smoke is now larger and can be seen under the aircraft ahead of the engine. This one captures the first contact nose down on the runway. Here we see the nose gear strut snap above the nose wheel. Then the aircraft starts to spin on its nose counterclockwise, still tail high. Here the aircraft looks like it might roll over as it spins on the ground. This shot captures the highest amount of roll during the spin. Here the aircraft has now started a spin back in a clockwise manner and settled down towards the ground. In this shot, after the aircraft had stopped spinning and settled down into the infield, the pilot initiated his ejection. In the shot, the pilot is still in the seat and ascending during the ejection sequence. Also visible in the shot is a small parachute that was deployed prior to the main chutes. In the shot, seatman separation has occurred and the pilot and the seat are still in an ascending trajectory. Here, the pilot is now starting to descend and come down under his chute. In this shot, the pilot is descending very close to the aircraft. Luckily, the aircraft did not catch fire in this case. Here's a post-crash picture. In the shot to the left and right of the aircraft are pieces of the canopy that were shattered on the start of the ejection sequence. The ejection seat is forward of the aircraft and the parachute is to the right on the ground where the pilot landed. And in this final shot, the pilot is seen walking in the group of people near where the parachute is. And note that none of these photos or the associated observations are intended to get ahead of the official mishap investigation process. All in all, the F-35 didn't have a great year in 2022 mishap-wise. An F-35A crashed at Hill Air Force Base in Utah in October. The pilot ejected and the crash caused a fire that spread across an open area of the base. And as we reported at the time, which was late July, Air Combat Command grounded its fleet of F-35As after a recall related to the aircraft's ejection seats. By mid-August, the fighter jets were back in the air. And then in March of 2022, the U.S. Navy announced it had recovered the VFA-147 F-35C, which is the carrier-based model, from the bottom of the South China Sea after it hit the ramp of the USS Carl Vinson during a Case 1 approach. Another mishap we covered on the channel after plat footage was leaked onto social media by members of the crew. Although it's been nearly a year, the final report on that ramp strike has still not been released by the U.S. Navy, which is most likely an indication that the findings aren't, let's say, good. But once the mishap report is publicly available, I'll get Hoser and Rowdy back on the channel for a live stream and we'll go over the results in detail. The Department of Defense currently has 450 F-35s with plans to grow its fleet to about 2,500 in total. The F-35's mission-capable rate has been a concern as it declined between fiscal year 2020 and 2021 due to mechanical and software interface issues, according to a report from the Government Accountability Office. More on this situation as the information becomes available, so if you're not already a subscriber, click the button and ring the bell so you don't miss anything. And if you'd like to help support the channel, please consider using the super thanks, the heart icon below, or become a patron at patreon.com/wardcarroll. In the meantime, I look forward to talking to you again very soon.